Hey, Dancing Rabbit here. Welcome to another Saturday Pagan Perspective. I'm recording this week's video a week ago when Feather and I were at the CMA Beltane Festival near Spirit Haven, Texas. This week's question is the nature of evil. What is it? And from an earlier version of the Wiccan Rede, which says cast the magic circle about to keep the evil spirits out, and then a newer version that goes something like to cast the magic circle about to keep unwanted spirits out. Which is more authentic, and do I have a problem with talking about evil spirits? Okay, first, evil. Evil really isn't, at least in my opinion, a pagan concept. It's not a concept that I find useful. It is found in the monotheistic religions, to some extent Judaism, but particularly Christianity and Islam. The idea that life is this battle between the forces of evil and the forces of good, the children of light and the children of dark. And the object is to get on the good side, and the forces of good are going to ultimately triumph because they are the forces of God. This really isn't a pagan concept at all. I don't believe that there is this battle between light and dark. I believe light and dark are both part of the natural order of things, day and night. It would be terrible if we only had day or if we only had night. Night is not particularly an evil thing. It just is. It's what happens when the sun goes down. And it's a good thing. Winter is not a bad thing. It's a fallow season, and we need a fallow season once a year. Well, unless you live in a terribly tropical place, but that's a completely different ecosystem. In any case, in my practice and in most pagan practices, dark doesn't symbolize evil. It just symbolizes the absence of daylight. And like the yin-yang symbol, the dark and the light swirl into each other, and there is a balance, and within the depths of the dark is a dot of light, and vice versa. So it's not a balance, it's not a dualism, it's a polarity, like the north and south pole of a magnet. Both are necessary to have a magnet. You can't have a magnet with only one pole, a monopole. And if you break the bar magnet, you simply end up with two smaller magnets. They both have a pole, a north and a south. So I guess I'm saying all that to say that I don't see evil as a being, a spiritual being, an inanimate force out there. Evil are acts. They are hurtful, harmful, destructive acts, and I think they largely come about through an imbalance, a wanting to take more than you give, a not caring about, a selfishness. But they're not a person, they're not a thing that you fight. You declare a war on evil. They are a matter of being out of balance, having too much of one and not enough of the other. So that's my take on evil. Now, as far as the Rede and that one line that mentions evil spirits, Shazulo, I think that you need to understand how pagans take their scriptures. It's quite different than the way Christians, particularly evangelical and fundamentalist Christians, take their scriptures, the Bible. We don't look at the Wiccan Rede or the charge of the goddess or the charge of the god as being infallible, inerrant words from the deity. These are inspiring words that were written by inspired people. For example, Dorian Valiente, if we're talking about charge of the goddess, and probably the Rede. We're not real sure who wrote everything, and there's some that can trace it back to pre-Wiccan times, the law, Aleister Crowley, because his law was somewhat similar, though a different twist on it than the Rede. Anyway, if you're talking about Christian scriptures, then perhaps you can talk about which one is the authentic and which one maybe is in error or a revision of, and maybe should not be believed or used as a basis of faith and doctrine. And generally you would go with the older document as being the more authentic. I don't see it like that with our pagan scriptures. And if Dorian Valiente or Gerald Gardner or one of their followers was in fact the author of that long poetic version of the Rede that you're quoting, then it was authentic for them. That was the way they saw it, as evil spirits, good spirits. If you're going to do a working, you keep the evil spirits out. I think that may have been borrowed from ceremonial magic, which sees spirits as being evil or good, and the magician's goal is to summon them and control them and command them to do his bidding. But I don't see it that way. Most modern pagans don't look at it that way, don't conceptualize it that way. Sitting on a trail and I've got traffic going by. Anyway,
hello.
Hi. I don't believe that there are evil spirits, and so I don't really need to set up a barrier to keep them out. And I think that whoever wrote the more revised version was writing from their perspective, their inspiration, and I feel more attuned to it. So that would be something that I would maybe put in my book of shadows or write on the wall or memorize. But it doesn't mean it's more authentic and the other one is less authentic. It just resonates with me. So I cast a circle mainly to keep power raised in, not to keep something or other out. But I do want to use it as a shield, as a filter, to keep out negative energies or things that are in the neighborhood that might disturb what I'm doing. It's not so much that I'm scared something is going to jump on me and grab me or possess me and I need to keep it out, but I want to have a quiet and peaceful place to do meditation or to do magic. And so in that sense, I would look at one of the uses of the magic circle is as a shield or filter to keep unwanted stuff, to keep junk out. So that's kind of my take on it. I think that you really need to understand, like I said, how pagans view our scriptures, and that it's not a matter of finding the oldest and most authentic and the other is less authentic or possibly even a forgery. It's not that at all. So, till next time, Dancing Rabbit, wishing you and yours peace.